Hey, what's up you guys, XB bringing you another Batman Arkham Knight video, and today we're going to be talking about is my ideas for the story pack DLC for Red Hood in Batman Arkham Knight. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, as of recently, Red Hood has been confirmed to be playable in challenge maps and through a story pack DLC pre-order exclusive to GameStop. So this is, first of all, freaking incredible. I've already talked about what my thoughts were on this in that video announcing it, but a lot of you kept asking me, oh, Caboose, what do you think the story could be about? Oh, Caboose, what do you think you could, like, where could the story go? Could he possibly be, like, the origin story of how he becomes the Arkham Knight? And I thought that I would make my little video on my thoughts on what I think or what I would want the story pack DLC for Red Hood to be about. Now, let me start this off with saying that I know, or not know, I mean, nobody really knows, but I am almost, like guaranteeing you guys that there is no way he is Arkham Knight at this point, because of the fact that we're going to play as Red Hood and that they're advertising the fact that we get to play as Red Hood. I think there is no chance in hell that he could become the Arkham Knight. So I want to completely rule out the option of the story pack DLC being about his origin story of becoming the Arkham Knight, because I feel for him to take the mantle of the Red Hood and then change himself into the Arkham Knight is really weird and kind of just out of place. But nevertheless, let's talk about my story ideas for Red Hood and Batman Arkham Knight. I've always had this vision. Back when Arkham City had been out for maybe a year, I'd always have this vision because Under the Red Hood is one of my favorite comic book storylines of all time. It is incredible. My favorite moment in comic book history comes from Under the Red Hood, and that is where Jason Todd wipes a smile off the Joker's face. It's one of my favorite, or it is my favorite comic book moment in history. So I really, really love the Under the Red Hood storyline, and the one thing I love the most about the animated film was the way it starts. It's this intense race to save Robin, and I always had this vision that we would get something like that in an Arkham game, and I hope we do with this one. I always had this vision where the opening scene is, you know, obviously it's kind of the same as the animated series where you have Joker beating Robin with the crowbar, and then it cuts to you playing as Batman, following a waypoint or following a road that's leading to Robin, the warehouse that Robin is at. And it's just like it's cutting from scene to scene to scene to scene. And it seems like they could do that in Arkham Knight, because in Arkham Knight the cutscenes don't happen through a loading screen. The cutscene is all fluent with the gameplay, so it goes from gameplay to cutscene to gameplay all in one fluent motion. So I would totally find it awesome if it's you driving the I don't know, the Batman motorcycle or the Bat bike, you driving the Bat bike and you're going super fast. It's super intense. Then it cuts to a scene. You're at the warehouse. Joker's beating Robin with a crowbar. And the reason I'm saying all this is because I would like you to even play, maybe even as Robin, taking this damage, or the last few moments where you get to play as Robin, where you're trying to crawl towards the door to open the door to get out of that warehouse. It would just be so intense, and it would be a nice, fresh start to the story. So basically, what I'm trying to get at here is I would want them to tell the Under the Red Hood story arc within Arkham Knight with Red Hood's story DLC. Try and make it so that there are hints towards it in the main story, so that when you play the story pack for Red Hood, you kind of get that full circle kind of moment. You know, like there's a moment where Red Hood runs into Batman in the main story, and then when you play as Red Hood in the story pack, you encounter that same exact moment, so that it's a really nice full circle kind of thing, and you get to see where Red Hood was before he ran into Batman in the main story and where he goes after. It would be really cool, and I just want them to tell the full Under the Red Hood story. It's the best story that Red Hood has. It's the story that defined that character, that made him one of the most loved characters in the DC universe. That is until Red Hood and the Outlaws came out and they totally dumbed him down. But overall, like, if there was any story that I would have to pick for Red Hood, it would be the Under the Red Hood storyline. It's the most incredible, most rich storyline. And if there was one thing that I would love it to be like, it would be like the Last of Us Left Behind DLC. I just recently played it on the PS4, and what I love the most about that DLC is it takes you through real time, like where you're in the main story of Last of Us, right? And then it cuts back to when Ellie was like on her own, and she's with her friend. I don't remember her name. That's pathetic of me. But anyways, I would like to see something similar in the Under the Red Hood story pack, if they ever did that, where you're playing as Red Hood, and then every now and then it would cut back to when Red Hood died, or when he was revived with the Lazarus Pit and he was going crazy, and it would just be this great, gripping story that would totally get me just right into it. I would latch on to Red Hood as a character, and I would be so engrossed in the story, and I hope they do something similar to that, because honestly, I don't know what else they could do. There could be some sort of storyline, maybe like a prequel, where you see what he was doing through the events of Arkham City. Maybe we have this whole thing where he sees the Joker die, and he sees that Batman didn't kill him, and that takes him on a path of God knows where. So, I don't know. Either way, I am so excited to see what the Red Hood storyline is going to be about. But my main story idea would be for it to take its complete basis around the Under the Red Hood story arc in comic books. It's my favorite comic book, or graphic novel, and it has my favorite comic book moment in history of comics. So, yeah. That's my idea. Let me know what your ideas are in the comment section below. And also, I wanted to do something interesting, guys. I feel like I want to do something to where I will always have a consistent upload on that day, and I can always have content coming to you guys one way or another. And what that will be is a weekly Q&A series that I will do for Batman Arkham Knight. So, in the comments section below, you can obviously leave your thoughts on what you want the Red Hood storyline to be about. But if you want to ask a question towards the Q&A series, which will start Friday, put the letter Q and then, put like a dash and then add your question. So, let's say my question would be like, Q dash. Caboose, what do you think the Red Hood storyline could be about? And then you can ask any sort of question. Please try not to make your questions, limit to who the Arkham Knight is. Ask me any sort of question. You can ask me, oh, what do you think the story is going to be like? Oh, what do you think the new gadgets are going to be like? You can ask me absolutely anything. And then at the end of every week, obviously on each Friday, we will do a Q&A, and I will be answering all your questions in a video, and you will see that every Friday. So again, leave me your questions in the comment section below, along with your thoughts on what you think the Red Hood story pack will be about. I'm Caboose XBL. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.